Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us. My name is Max Poritzky, and I work at Fullscript, the leading virtual dispensing platform for health professionals and their patients. Today, I'm going to be speaking with Dr. Kris Sargent, and our conversation is going to go into the details about her integrative chiropractic practice, her experience using Fullscript's virtual dispensary, and her insights on the value of running automated promotions to drive compliance and revenue. Dr. Sargent is a dynamic and distinguished individual. She's an integrative chiropractor who's incorporated a functional approach to patient care since the very beginning of her practice. She's a lifelong learner, as evidenced by her extensive formal education in the sciences and her continued pursuit of advanced trainings throughout her career. Combining chiropractic care and nutrition has always been a pillar of Dr. Sargent's model of care. And as she says, if you nourish the body as well as treat your spine, you're going to be healthier. Let's get started.
Yeah, so tell me more about your practice. Like, how would you describe it? You know, who are the patients who are coming to see you the most, and what kinds of conditions are you seeing every day and dealing with?
Yeah, so my practice has gone through so many different iterations. I won't bore you too much, but I just had a small private practice, chiropractic practice with nutrition that I grew to be over $1 million for several years in a row, 15 employees, a couple different chiropractors working for me. Like, we had a huge alternate med spa clinic for several years. We've gone through a couple of different or 5 or 10 different iterations of how does this need to work, and how do I serve people the best way possible. So now I've pivoted probably for the 3rd or 4th time just in the last few months of, okay, that's it. I'm all in private practice.
As a chiropractor who's incorporating nutrition into your treatment plan, how do you go about finding that balance and attracting the right patients and sort of speaking to them so they understand why you include nutrition in your treatment plan?
Sure,
Because
no
when
problem.
most people think of a chiropractor, they're thinking of going to somebody who's just hands-on, right? And that's changing, of course.
Right. So when I first started, I think that that's how people knew me, right? Like, oh, you're a chiropractor, that's what you do. And so that was the focus at the time, right? Probably for the first 7 or 8, 9 years. So they would come in, they have neck pain, and I would say, okay, but you also have like really dark circles under your eyes. When was the last time you had any good lab work? Right. So it's really a matter of just keep asking the questions. For chiropractors who are thinking like, oh, I would like to include a little bit more nutrition. Like, even the pain stuff, now we know, the extra magnesium, the extra calcium, like the basic stuff, people aren't getting any of that from anywhere. And if they are, they're getting it from Amazon. So why wouldn't you want to give them something that's a professional grade from Fullscript, when all you have to do is just put a couple things in their cart and boom, just say, hey, this is going to make your neck pain better, and it's going to make our relationship better because you're going to heal better and hold your adjustments better.
Yeah, that makes sense. So you have this transition, and you were using nutrition for 24 years before you started with Fullscript, right? So tell me a little bit about sort of what it looked like before you switched over to doing a virtual dispensary, and sort of what drove that process, and then maybe some of the benefits that came from it.
It was frustrating. And if you have the right person in your office, maybe it isn't. But for us, it was frustrating. It never seemed to have enough of what we needed. And yet we had $20,000 worth of stuff on shelves at the time. So in this day and age, it doesn't make sense to have that much money tied up on your shelves. It really doesn't. Not when people are used to now ordering on Amazon, getting it in a few days, right to their house. They're used to that now. When I first started working with Fullscript, people were still like, oh, kind of that way. And now it just makes so much sense to them. So how am I getting my supplements? I'm going to put them in a cart for you. You're going to get an email. You're going to click on it, put your payment information. It goes right to your house. That's how it happens. So the transition was wonderful. And I think I literally did it in a day. I really do. I think I just decided, like, that's it. We're done. Send back what we can send back. throw away what needs to be thrown away, and the rest of it we'll put on for sale cheaper for a little bit just to get it out of the office. And we held on to a couple of things, but not very much. It was in a day, I'm done.
Yeah. And we can see, I mean, you can see on the slide, we have some stats from your practice. I mean, you've done well over 1,000 treatment plans, thousands and thousands of orders from your patients. Tell me, like, what do your patients say about their experience using, with you being able to offer them virtual dispensary as opposed to, let's say, having to come into the office to buy their product?
Oh, almost every single new patient's like, oh, so easy, thank you. So easy, thank you. I don't have to go to the store and figure out what I need. No, I've got it all right here just for you. I leave the full search open, so if your husband needs or your wife needs something or your kids need some vitamin C, just go in and search. You can get it from there too. Like, I just off the cuff let that happen.
Would you say that it's driven compliance, driven treatment adherence, refill rates, anything like that?
Well, you guys probably keep more stats about that than I do. However, I do see, I mean, we get email every time somebody jumps on. And what I have done more recently this year is people who haven't ordered for a while, like you get that email or you check your list of who's ordered this month, and you look at it and you're like, oh, I haven't seen, Sammy Sue for a while. I wonder if, let me reach out to her and just say hi. And so some of those people that you haven't seen for a while, all of a sudden they jump back on their supplement, or they realize that whatever they realize, right? And a lot of times if you just reach out to them, either they're like, oh, I really need some lab work, or no, you taught me exactly, just recently, no, you taught me exactly what to do. Thank you so much.
How important is supplement revenue to your practice, to the vitality of your practice?
Yeah, so every Friday, most Fridays, I get a check. And let me tell you, in April and May, when I had almost no patient visits, I still had Fullscript revenue. I can't even tell you how grateful I was for that. And it was still consistent, which is like, you'd think, oh, it probably dropped off. Oh no, I had some weeks that were up high because they were jumping on the, immune stuff, because I sent out an email about immune. And I think, to have, just know that, like, okay, even if my practice is a little slow, I know what I'm going to have on Friday. I know there's going to be money in the account on Friday. So I think that it, like, there's a peace of mind there that you don't have when it's going so fast during the week. You don't always realize how much you're selling in your supplements either.
So I love this quote from you, that it's a great way to show people that you care. And I think that what sometimes happens is people look at a business tool, business management tool, or a patient management tool, or a virtual care tool, and they just see a mechanism. And but I love that you brought this idea of that this is really an extension of the care that you give, because it makes your life easier and the patient's life easier. Can you talk a little bit more about your thinking there? I love that quote.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's really back to what we talked about just a couple minutes ago, Max, like the pay it forward piece, because honestly, let's just be realistic here. If you're putting a extra 5, like I always have 5%, so I put a 5% extra, or even 10, like a full 15% off for 2 days or 3 days, right? People see that and they realize that you're not just there for the money. So if you're helping them get to the best supplements, then to just say, hey, it's not about the money, it's about you getting the best, absolute best quality that you can get. And here's a vehicle that you can do it with. That's what a promo is for.
You mentioned something earlier. You were saying that earlier this year, that you, even with no patient visits, you were still maintaining your revenue because people are still staying on their treatment plans. They need their supplements. And we already know that people will buy their supplements somewhere, right? And they want to get them from their doctor if they can. But, back in June, we hosted a patient promotion, which you took, you participated in. You had a, over 450% increase in your MSRP week over week, your total revenue there, and at 2.5 times orders than you had the previous week. Tell me a little bit about sort of what was it like to opt in? What was that process like? And then was this surprising to you? Did your patients respond? I mean, what was it like to do this promo?
So it was 2 seconds to do this promo, right? Like I probably joined in at the last minute because I'm not always the best about paying attention to my emails. So this kind of email, like, hey, we want you to do this thing, can you do this promotion with us? Like, oh my gosh, what day is it? And when do I need to be signed up? That's usually me, just being honest. And honestly, this is the first time I ever saw my results right now. Like when I saw the slide deck a couple hours ago, I'm like, what? Who knew? So I think that I run a couple of separate promotions on my own through the year anyway, and I always see a little uptick for a little bit. And so I expected to see it. I had no idea that it was this much.
Obviously, you're not the only person who does promotions on your own for your patients and your practice. How much time do you typically spend, let's say on a monthly basis, doing your own promotion content, writing and Facebook or whatever else you use?
Hours. I mean, right now I'm committed to a podcast interview every week, 5 promo emails a week, 1 blog a week. Like content creation is time consuming. And if you're running a really busy practice, I mean, I'm still solo, right? So if you're running a super busy practice, then that's not like you're going to have to hire somebody to do that for you, or you're doing it when you should be with your family.
So it sounds like, this kind of promotion and this kind of tool is the right tool for that kind of job for you. You said it took you literally seconds to do. And you can see here, I mean, we know the setup for you is really just you opt in and then just make sure that your patients are actually on the platform. Other than that, we pretty much carry the rest of it for you. So I was thrilled too. I hadn't seen your numbers until today or yesterday, and I was blown away. You mentioned the opt-in process. This is the opt-in process. Basically, if you remember, it looks just like this. You're essentially in your Fullscript dashboard, and you can very quickly just opt in. And you can globally opt in for all promotions, and you can set the patient savings right there. Or of course, you can opt in for very specific ones as well if you want to do them one-off. So it makes it really, really easy. What would you say to other chiropractors who are considering using a Cyber Monday to generate revenue for their practice?
Yeah, why wouldn't you? I'm not sure I would understand why you wouldn't want to do that if you know that you're going to get better compliance. You can start building that as an event in your office right now. It's a month out, right? I think, November 30th. You have 4 weeks in your office to build that up. If you're just new on Fullscript and you're not sure, or if you're like full on, like, hey, yes, people are still going to buy their supplements this month. They're not going to wait till the 30th. They're still going to get what they need when they run out. However, in your office, particularly in your new patients, like, hey, stock up for December so that you have it in January. Stock up, and you can just let people know, put a sign out or whatever you do on your website, do that.
You have this incredible drive and inspiration, and I really appreciate it. It's always really fun to talk and connect.
Thank you. I appreciate it too. And, doctors, reach out. I'm happy to help you. If you don't understand what you're doing or you just want a different opinion or whatever, reach out. I'm on all over social, so you can find me.